Give a little update here. Looks like the market pendulum might have swung. I was talking about, they had the big sell-off in the treasuries a couple weeks ago, like a landslide sell-off, and also all-time record volume in the 2-year treasuries, 5-year treasuries, and the 10-year notes. Now, I know the middles are kind of going up. I really don't know, but when people are so freaking super bearish, sometimes that's just when it changes. Even bar none is really super bearish right now. I don't know. And I'm going to say something here right in the beginning too. Putin the cat, he's up here on his shelf, right up here. He's kind of like half sleeping. He's going to be 1 year old tomorrow. So he's June 7th. He's going to have 1 year birthday. I don't know. I'm going to put a candle in a dead mouse or some shit. I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway, he don't know what the hell his birthday anyway. But every day's his birthday. But I just want to get on to a couple other things. With alternative media, I was talking about that and all these silver gurus, and that's one of the reasons I decided to get on here, because I was like, these guys don't even know what the hell they're talking about at all. Like, I don't know the future for like ironclad fact, like step by step every week, but I got a pretty good idea how I think it's going to play out, and I got confidence in the metals, right? Now, I'm going to throw another name out here. I kind of just play along with the game with this Lindsey Williams guy, too, because he's like, I agree with him in a general way, but I'm going to tell you this. The stuff he throws out with all the conspiracies and what's going to happen in the globe and all the global elite are going to do this. You know what? If you look back at other sources, you could find stuff that he said decades ago. And actually, Lindsey Williams has been talking about the collapse of the dollar in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. He don't know. He's just selling DVDs. And now he's pretty much selling, I don't want to pick on him too much, but they're all in the same camp as this guy. And that reminds me of the word Harold Camping with the end of the world. You remember him? Another pastor out there. So now he's pretty much selling, the Mexican Tijuana clinic, get healed. Well, you know what I'm going to tell you guys? Cheap stuff. You buy some herb, and some of those herbs are pretty powerful. They're cheap. That's the whole thing. It's ancient medicine. And don't knock it, because practically everything the pharmaceutical people think of is from a plant. They just got to figure out what the thing is in a plant is that works, then they can synthesize it, then they own it, then they can sell it for big bucks. So, anyway. And I also want to say another thing is with Lindsey Williams, actually, if you took a guy like Anthony Sutton, I forgot what books he wrote. None dare call it. I forgot what books he wrote, but he talked about here's Putin. He talked about the difference between the East and the West was like it was a big fake thing. Basically global tensions. The Eastern Bloc nations. He was talking about this a long time ago. They call it the big conspiracy. The John Birch Society said that too, but the John Birch Society actually is a big scam in itself too, because they're part of the bullshit. They are. One thing I get annoyed at is I know people are always looking for the truth, but I think 99.99% of the alternative media that's out there is a pile of shit. And actually, I can really play up my crap a lot too, because I know, like, was it my great grandfather who was related to one of the British royalty, who was like a bastard kid of like, he was Italian. I put this out before. He was basically the I got that lizard blood, I guess, you know what I mean? But it don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean I know anything special. But if I wanted to play this shit up, I could play that up. I could play up, that family in one of the largest gambling rings. He's high up in one of the largest gambling rings in New Jersey in a mob, and tied in one of the biggest mafia families in the area. I ain't gonna say the name. Also supposedly related to Robert Vesco, if you ever heard of him, from the 70s. He used to be known as the Salad Oil King. I think he died when he died in Cuba. Finally, he was pretty much broke. So he's like, everybody thought he was going to get him a whole bunch of money, but he was like the number one listed on a top fugitive from the FBI. I can tell you a lot of other shit that I'm not going to even hint at. But, it doesn't mean I know all this inside stuff. That's the thing, And these guys that go on the internet, man, they say, oh, yeah, I used to be this and that. And that's why I know what's going to happen in the future. Man, they're so fucking full of shit. I could probably play up more shit than they can easily. And there's a whole bunch of people that could say the same thing, because I'm not the only one that's related to these people, But, yeah, I just go by my common sense. That's what I do. And usually that works pretty good. Common sense and instincts. That usually works pretty damn good. And I do have a tendency to get in with some weird shit sometimes, man. I just don't. So right now I'm kind of messing around, playing around on YouTube, and I kind of like this shit because the sky's the limit as far as topics go, except for, hardcore porn or something, So, but anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about this silver stuff too, because just hang on, because I think it is... and everybody expects it to go down, really go through the floor. That's when it starts going up again. Today, I kind of smell some good signs with it, too. Actually, Mario Draghi opened his mouth today, the guy in ECB. And he killed a lot of the markets in Europe. Before the speech, they were all in the green. After the speech, they went down into the red. So, and I also want to point something out. It's almost like I don't trust the equities. I think it's basically like a sucker's game right now. It reminds me of the crap from 1999. Yeah, everybody's making money. Yeah, sure, do it. I don't trust it. Pretty much common sense tells you when something goes up this much, like the equities and actually now the Japanese equities are pulling back, but they were up 17% in 2013. That, you made the money, get the hell out of it. You're finished, right? That's the way I look at it. Get the hell out of it. You got the money. And that's exactly how I'm going to think about with gold and silver, too. But getting back to some of this garbage with these conspiracy freaks out there, are actually just conspiracy freaks making money, like Alex Jones. They all are. They're full of it. And I know people are looking for information. But, it was said decades ago, like Lindsey Williams talks about, they're going to bankrupt the world through debt. They're going to destroy the world through debt. And then they're going to, after the whole system collapses, they're going to bring in a new world order. They've been talking about that for freaking 30 years, man. All right? He sure as hell did not freaking come up with that idea. All right? So, and just beware of anybody that's playing that card, about the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds ain't all important. I know somebody answered me on one of these videos. I know that. Shit, there's even Russian mafia that's way... They're not mafia per se, but they're like gazillions of billions. I'll just put it that way. And their name isn't on the Forbes list. Names I heard of now, but nobody else heard of. And guess what? They probably got more than the damn Rothschilds. You don't know who the hell's got the power. And actually, people think they got the power, probably don't, because somebody just might get ambitious and stick it to them, you know what I mean? But anybody the public knows about is definitely not the people on the top. That you know. And so actually, I have to say this, this is one thing I want to leave you with, because it's going to relate to my next video, basically. Any politician or any alternative media that is anti-gun, they're working for the freaking Illuminati or the devil or some other way. Because if you own guns, Americans own guns, and they own good guns, not some shit guns. They got good guns that like the military has or something, practically, right? No way in hell are the people that are the control freaks and be able to take over the planet. That's just common sense 101. And you look at Russia today, you think those fucks are alternative media? They're scum, man. There's just as much scum as the rest of the old major media. Russia today. They're probably worse. I don't know, maybe just as bad as anybody else. They're all for gun control all the way. Abby Martin. As guys look at her tits and her ass, like Lauren Lister, they're all for freaking gun control. She's a communist, man. She's working for freaking Russia today. Screw that. You know, I wish if I didn't have to pay some big bucks to some hot bitch, I'd have her on this thing right now with, hey, shoot guns and whatever, because basically you want to know an acid test, real fast, simple test, to see if which side the politicians are on, if they're for the people or they're for the money. See how they fit on gun control. If they got A+ through like Gun Owners of America or the National Rifle Association, those politicians you got no problem with. They're against the New World Order per se. They're for individual freedoms. And anybody on Russia Today, like these idiots out there, these English sounding, they got British accents. They talk on Russia Today and they're a bunch of communists. They're all for freaking gun control. That's Putin, man. And that's what Putin's for, man. He's New World Order. He's Russian New World Order all the way. That's the fastest, easiest way to tell, if this alternative media is legit or they're not legit. If they're for gun control. That's the fastest way to know. Because you know what? All this crap these guys are talking about, we're like they're going to collapse the system. And they've been talking about this for freaking 30 years. It's not really like a conspiracy. It's an intention on the people on the top. They haven't been doing too good. It's been taking them longer than they thought, They can't do it without gun control first. So, that's like a major thing. So, it's more important than silver. More important than silver. More important than gold. More important than platinum or palladium. And it can get you food, too. So gun is real important. And also, I want to say another thing that's more important than silver, Harley-Davidson. So, just think clear and think common sense. You never go wrong, man. Never. Never. So, that's my update. And Putin's birthday's tomorrow. 1 year old.